Hi, my name's Clare Bailey, and I'm the retail expert working with Business Lincolnshire, your growth hub. And this is all about delivering a series of playbooks around specific retail and consumer facing topics. In today's session, which is a mini webinar, I'll be looking at part four of range planning and reviews. There are several other parts to this, but this one is about how to keep the range fresh and profitable. So, when you do your range review, it's probably advisable to do that quarterly to stay on top of things. However, if you're a highly seasonal business, it might even be worth doing it every couple of months. The purpose of the range review is to identify your top and bottom performers, as we've mentioned before in previous episodes of this series. I think that the way that a lot of people identify performers is often a little misguided. We often look at things by percentage margin or by net sales. And actually, what really, really matters is cash margin, because that's money in the till that's your money. It's not going to pay for the product, it's not going to pay for anything other than your costs, and it's going to pay you. So, looking at top and bottom performers by cash margin is really important. And so is using other meaningful KPIs. So I've talked about sales versus cash margin, but also things like stock turn, stock availability are really, really important so that you can actually analyze products by their performance. So if a product doesn't perform well, is it because you were out of stock? If a product is quite an erratic seller, should you have a more when it's gone policy rather than keeping it in stock all the time? And these are the kind of questions you have to ask yourself. We also need to look at things like the basket analysis and the customer insight. If you've got that data from your EPOS system, and if you haven't, I'd urge you to get an EPOS system so you can start building that data, because that's really important to avoid elimination of valuable products that sit in profitable baskets. The other thing about range reviews is it's about acting quickly. Keep a product, it's a cash cow or a star, meaning it's delivering high margins and reliably selling. Adjust, does it need promoting to stimulate sales and move some stock? Or remove. So when you hear from my colleague Kim on product lifecycle management and read her playbook, you'll also be able to see things about the cash cows, the stars, the dogs, and the ones to watch. And that's really essential. These things go really very much hand in hand. The thing about range reviews, it's just about the fine tuning all the time. Never taking your eye off the ball, because you could have a product that's storming out the door 1 minute and then is actually costing you a load of money and tied up cash flow the next, because perhaps it just went off the boil and customers' trends changed. And range reviews are about keeping on top of the trends, being able to bring in the interesting new products and sort of test the market with them, keeping in stock always of the ones that are performing and giving you the profitability, and getting rid of the ones that are just holding you back and sort of almost strangulating your cash flow and your business. So I go on to my just one thing, and I always make the joke, if you've seen a couple of these videos already, that it isn't one thing, but I'll try to play it down. These are the things I want you to take away from this. These are your action points. A range needs regular health checks, and that involves looking at stock levels, sell-through rates, margins, profitability, consumer trends, the pattern of which, it's launched and then it's maybe trending off. It's really important just to keep an eye on how things are going. You could start at category level, so you know how your categories perform for you, and then drill down. The other thing is to not be sentimental. There's far too many retailers out there who love a product personally, but unfortunately, it's not what their customers are loving. So you cut your losers out early so that you can afford to reinvest in the winners. And if that involves investing in some marketing, promotion, discounting, or whatever, it's better to get cost price plus VAT back in the business rather than to hopefully flog a dead horse and end up with just a weight of stock burden around your neck. Because if you can liquidate the losers, you can put more towards the winners when it comes to cash flow and stock investment. So I would urge you to check your data today if you have access to the data. If you don't, well, that's a whole other conversation about sorting out an EPOS system and making sure that you do have high quality business data. But if you're able to check your data today, are there immediate wins you can realize right now? Are there products that are not performing, that are overstocked, slow rates of sale? Is it worth just throwing some promotional spend at them and getting them out the door so you can maybe perhaps do something with the cash you'll liberate with something that might make you more money? But also create a discipline of setting aside time for regular reviews. It's probably half a day, maybe to a day, depending on the size of your range, every 3 months. But what that's going to do is save you the cost of obsolete stock, excessive discounting, and the burden of all that capital tied up in unproductive product. So that's it. That's all I'm going to burden you with today. If you want more information, you can access the full playbook if you haven't already come from there via businesslincolnshire.com/programs/retail-accelerator-program. There are 5 playbooks on there across various topics relevant to retail and consumer facing industries. Of course, you're here watching this video, so you can see there are various 5-ish minute webinars across this YouTube channel. And if you feel you'd like more help and advice, you can contact your local Growth Hub advisor via businesslincolnshire.com/contact-us. Thank you for listening.